I'm Scott Lucas. This is today's EA Worldview on Iran and Syria. Tehran, Damascus, and the League of Super Evil. An interesting announcement from Tehran last week. There was going to be a mega international conference to discuss the Syrian situation and a political resolution. Delegations from around the world were going to flock to the Iranian capital to finally come up with the answer to more than 3 years of protest and fighting. Well, in the end, a few days later, it wasn't quite a mega international gathering. It was only ambassadors and envoys from a few countries, but oh, what countries there were. The Iranian Speaker of Parliament looked out and addressed representatives from Iraq. You remember the country where Saddam Hussein was up until a few years ago? The Syrians there, because after all, it was their country being discussed, but so were, we were told, the Cubans and the Venezuelans. Yes, Fidel Castro's people, the legacy of Hugo Chavez, and Bashar al-Assad, all in one place, with the Islamic Republic and no doubt the spirit of Ayatollah Khomeini looking down upon them. Goodness knows what Glenn Beck, Fox watchers, and the Foundation for Defense of Democracies in Washington make of all this. I look forward to the forthcoming analysis, for example, from the Washington Institute for Near East Policy about how this is the latest incarnation of the conspiracy linking Islam, dictatorship, and who knows, possibly an alien invasion. In reality, it wasn't quite that significant. What Iran had done was put on a showpiece to declare its support for the Syrian regime. It did so not by talking about military support and other super evil missiles. It didn't even refer to its spies, intelligence agents, agents of reconstruction, who were moving from Damascus to Homs to Aleppo. No, what Iran was putting forth was the idea that there should be elections in Syria, elections that would, of course, lead to a victory for President Assad. Not exactly a dramatic revelation. Not exactly what you might call the most nefarious plot we've ever encountered. But at the end of the day, Iran, Iraq, Venezuela, and Cuba were putting out a signal that the Assad regime is here to stay. My kids tell me that the League of Super Evil is actually a televised show about a group of quite hapless supervillains who can't quite get it right. Whether this version of super evil in Tehran gets it right regarding President Assad, well, I'll let you think about that one. I'm Scott Lucas, and this has been in today's EA Worldview on Iran and Syria. And I'm sure that somewhere in a place called North Korea, there's a guy named Kim Jong-Un who's crying because for some reason he never got his invitation to this quite celestial gathering.